27 past the hour. 6 months ago, we spoke with a group of voters here in Miami. And back then, President Biden was still in the race. Now that Vice President Harris is a Democratic presidential nominee, and with just over 10 days till the election, we wanted to revisit with these voters and hear how they feel about what has become a drastically different race. Here's part of our conversation.
6 months ago,
I'm very underwhelmed.
I'm not too happy with everything that's been going on.
I'd like to see a true potential.
And now,
A lot has changed.
back in April, we met in Miami's Little Havana. This time, we met with them in Little Haiti at the Shoeblack Visitor Center.
So good to be able to have an opportunity to chat.
Sandra Dennis helps workers and tenants in Miami. Her parents are immigrants from Haiti.
I am a Democrat through and through, and I'm going to be supporting the Harris ticket.
Alfonso Treto is a public school teacher. His parents emigrated from Mexico.
I am a former Republican and now Democrat. I was not happy with the candidates before, but now I'm all in for VP Harris.
Isabela Rodriguez is the daughter of Cuban exiles.
I am a former Democrat, and now I am an unapologetic, through and through MAGA Trump supporter.
For these voters, immigration, abortion, and the economy continue to be their top issues.
Last time we spoke, the economy was top of mind in many ways for each one of you. Is it still that way?
I think the economy has gotten better. Is there still room for improvement? Yes, there is. Inflation's a little better controlled. Is Trump going to do any better? I mean, I personally don't feel that way.
The economy is a problem. You feel it at the grocery store. You feel it at the gas pump. Donald Trump is worried about Americans. He's worried about us doing better. He wants us to be able to afford our groceries.
Between housing and childcare, people have no room to breathe. I actually don't believe that the Trump administration was better on the economy. I think that some of the benefits that we're still seeing in the economy is from the Obama era.
What about abortion, and how big of a motivating factor is it for you?
I'm very pro-life. However,
I am too.
We've been making the argument on Roe v. Wade that it should be a state issue and that it should have never been a federal issue. And women should have an actual choice. It should really depend on, do they have the choice that if they wanted to keep their child, that they have the resources available to make that choice? And I don't feel like that's something that's available.
What if they don't? What if they don't want to keep their child?
You can't just say you're going to kill your child because of an inconvenience.
Oh, it's not always an inconvenience.
No.
And I hear you. I just wanted to speak about me. I also know a lot of women who are being abused who do not have control of their reproductive rights. And so I do want people to have options. I don't think anyone is like, pick me, I want an abortion. I think these are hard, personal decisions that people have to make. And I don't think government should be involved in those decisions.
We all are first or second generation Americans. And in the issue of immigration, what do you think has been the motivating factor?
My family is Haitian, and I find that the rhetoric around immigration, specifically with Haitians, have been disrespectful, have put people in harm's way.
I don't like the way Trump demonizes immigrants. This nation is a nation of immigrants.
Springfield, Ohio has a population of 60,000 people. They dropped 20,000 Haitians in a small town in rural America. There's just going to be a cultural clash because you can't change the demographic of a small town that rapidly overnight.
I'm sure that puts pressures on the system. You can bring forth solutions as a nominee, but you don't go to a Haitian restaurant and see cats and dogs on the menu. They know exactly what they're doing. They're baiting folks. There is a racial undertone.
Although these voters disagree on so many things, they all say the country needs to find a way to disagree without being disagreeable.
I think this conversation, while very different, I think none of us are leaving here upset with one another. None of us are leaving here feeling demonized by one another. We were respectful. We shared our thoughts. We joked a little bit about it. I think it takes more of this, to be in proximity with people who are different from you.
And with us now to talk about this, former Florida Republican Congressman Carlos Curbelo, who is an MSNBC political analyst, and back with us, former Florida Democratic Representative Stephanie Murphy. So, Carlos, what's your key takeaway from this conversation?
Well, Jose, I think, number one, those voters provide a great example of what it's like to just evaluate the politics and express your positions, as they said, right, without being disagreeable. But I think you do see, especially in the Hispanic community, that shift to the right, and it continues to be more and more pronounced every time. I think it really started in the state of Florida back when President Obama had the big attempt to mend relationships with the Cuban regime. And those images back then, I think, started pushing a lot of Florida Hispanics, Cubans, Venezuelans, Nicaraguans toward the Republican Party. And then the Democratic Party has also just kind of moved away from the Hispanic community on cultural issues with the victimhood discourse. All of that has really shifted support from the Democratic Party, which I remember back when I was in office, there were a lot of concerns from Republicans, right, that Democrats were making such strong gains in the Florida Latino community. That has all dissipated, and Republicans really have the momentum now.
Stephanie, why do you think this is, and do you agree with what Carlos is saying?
I think that the Republican attack on socialism has really take hold. And I found it interesting that Vice President Harris went on Telemundo and embraced fully that she was a pragmatic capitalist, because we know from polling that you have to use the word capitalism and capitalist to blunt the socialism attacks, but you haven't seen a lot of Democrats do that in previous cycles. But I think she understands that she really needs to take this issue head on, and that's why you see her on Telemundo talking about a opportunity economy specifically for Latino voters and the Hispanic community, as well as being in a full embrace of what she calls pragmatic capitalism. But certainly the socialism attack has eroded Hispanic support for Democrats. I think the other thing is that the abortion issue doesn't resonate the same way, because many of the Hispanic communities are Catholic and are pro-life, and so it doesn't move them the way that it moves some other groups of women.
It's interesting because the whole issue of the Hispanic community and views on abortion, I think, have changed as far as depending on the generation of Latinos that is dealing with this issue. Carl, Donald Trump, meanwhile, continues almost like focused on a laser in a campaign that has been anything but focused. But he is very focused on migrants in this country. This is just what he said last night in Arizona. Take a listen to this.
They're coming from 181 countries as of yesterday. Right, and we're a dumping ground. We're like a garbage can for the world. That's what's happened. That's what's happened to we're like a garbage can. You know, it's the first time I've ever said that. And every time I come up and talk about what they've done to a country, I get angrier and angrier.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's the first time he said the garbage can thing, but here's a guy who said that migrants are poisoning the blood of America. And when in 2015, he said when Mexico sends their people, they're not sending the best. They're sending rapists and drug dealers. I guess Trump believes, Carlos, that this is a winning message.
So this is red meat for his base. Jose, the MAGA base does. You know, this resonates with them, unfortunately. I think a majority of the country is with Republicans on immigration policy. They reject what they've seen under the Biden-Harris administration. However, a majority of the country rejects Donald Trump's rhetoric on immigration, the tone, these types of statements that are so denigrating to human beings. And that's where he loses swing voters. Not just Hispanics, younger Hispanics, but white voters, a lot of college-educated voters who really have zero tolerance for this kind of rhetoric. So Donald Trump, a lot of times, goes on offense on immigration, all the times, but sometimes he becomes offensive on immigration, and that's when he starts losing votes.
And, you know, sometimes people would say all the time he becomes offensive when he talks about it. But that's Carlos Curbelo and Stephanie Murphy, I thank you both so much for being with us this morning. Appreciate it.